Dan Willis here, and we're talking about how to rebuild your credit. In this video, we're going to discuss how to handle any outstanding debts, along with how to dispute your credit report, because this is how we're going to legally remove any dings, blemishes, and negative items from your credit reports, which is huge to getting a better credit score. So for many folks with less than perfect credit, they're being contacted by debt collectors. Unfortunately, too many of these folks will instinctively pay a collection debt and with the mistaken belief that this is how to get a better credit score. Only after the fact do they learn that typically this only changes the status of the collection on your credit reports. It's changed from an unpaid collection to a paid collection. This is still a negative credit report item. Anthony Sprague, a spokesman for FICO, says collections on your credit report can damage and drag your credit score down by as much as 100 points. That's huge! The key to making your credit score go up is to clear the negative credit report item and get rid of this collection mark, because this is the cause of a low credit score. We encourage our members to perform the 4 due diligence steps when dealing with debt collectors, and this first step begins with your right as a consumer to request debt validation on your collections account. This is granted by the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, FDCPA. This is essentially how you ask for proof, or a receipt if you prefer, from the debt collector. You see, they're required to provide you with evidence, documentation, and paperwork that does prove this is your account. If they fail to do so for any reason, then you're no longer legally responsible for payment. Further, they're supposed to contact all 3 credit bureaus to have them remove this collection from your credit report. The second step, if your account is validated, is to investigate how old the debt and collection account are. You see, for the vast majority of types of consumer debt, you're only legally responsible for repayment for a specific number of years, generally about 7 years. This is called the statute of limitations, and it's a state law, and it does vary, so for full details, check out your local legislation. This law applies to charge-offs, retail accounts, utilities, personal loans, credit cards, medical bills, telecommunications, and many more. If your account is validated and it's within that statute of limitations legal time window, our third step is to negotiate a settlement agreement directly with the debt collector. This is important because you always want to negotiate to settle the debt for just a fraction of the total balance. Often, you'll be able to settle for as little as about 10% up to about 40% of the total balance. For example, with a $1,000 debt, you may be able to settle for just 25% or $250. This is standard operating practice, and every debt collector should be thrilled to accept a settlement for less. As part of your settlement agreement and before you submit payment, it's imperative to get the debt collector to agree they'll stop reporting your account information to all 3 credit bureaus. This will enable us to remove this collection mark by disputing your credit report, which we'll be discussing here coming up, and that's the 4th step momentarily. If you'd like some help, you can get a free credit report consultation by calling toll-free 1-844-517-7627. Now let's discuss how to dispute your credit report, because this is how we're going to get rid of that collection and any other negative, derogatory, inaccurate items you might have on your credit report. The Fair Credit Reporting Act, FCRA, is the federal legislation that enables you to challenge and dispute any information on your credit report so long as you believe it's questionable, inaccurate, or made in error. This is how we tell the credit bureaus you're one of the 40 million Americans with a mistake on your credit report and it needs to be fixed. You can file your credit report dispute online, over the phone, and by mail. Once the credit bureaus get your dispute, they first get to deem it valid or frivolous. Only on valid disputes are they required to investigate. they'll call it a reinvestigation. Nonetheless, during which they'll contact the data furnisher, this is the company reporting the account information, and ask them for verification of the account. If the item cannot be verified, then in compliance with the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the credit bureaus must remove it from your credit report. This is how to legally remove bad credit by exercising your rights as a consumer and without just waiting 7 long, expensive, and embarrassing years. If the item is verified, then it'll remain on your credit report and can potentially be updated with accurate information. You'll be notified of the results of your investigation however you choose to file your dispute. For example, if you filed your dispute by mail, you'll get the results of the investigation by mail, and generally in about 30 days. There have been amendments made to the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Today, you can now dispute a data furnisher directly, thus bypassing the credit bureaus. For example, you could dispute a debt collector directly rather than using the traditional credit report dispute method with the credit bureaus. It's wise to approach and view your credit reports as separate independent cases, as in you'll need to file a dispute with Experian to potentially remove any errors, dings, and questionable items from your Experian credit report. You'll also have to file an additional transunion dispute to potentially remove any errors from your transunion credit report, and likewise with Equifax. The credit bureaus are not connected. They're separate, independent businesses. Following up with our earlier example of paying off collections when we file our credit report disputes and the credit bureaus investigate the item, as per our settlement agreement directly with the debt collector, they won't verify the account when the credit bureaus investigate during that credit bureau investigation. As a result, the credit bureaus are required to remove this collection from your credit report. That's that second part of your settlement agreement directly with the debt collector about them agreeing that they'll stop reporting your account information to the 3 credit bureaus. That way, when the credit bureaus investigate, the account won't get verified, and in accordance with the Fair Credit Reporting Act, it must be removed from your credit report. And if you'd like some help, you can get a free credit report consultation by calling toll-free 1-844-517-7627. Again, that's for a free credit report consultation, and the toll-free phone number is 1-844-517-7627. This is Dan Willis. We're going to include a link in the description below over to an article at our website for the full story. We also have a free report available there for you, the 7 proven ways to boost your credit score. And of course, subscribe and join our congregation, because coming up next, we're going to be talking about how long does it take to rebuild your credit. So of course, subscribe. Have a wonderful day, and looking forward to talking to you again here soon.